It's now a little over a week since the deadly terror attack in Orlando, and critical questions still remain about exactly what happened during that 3-hour standoff that ended in 50 deaths, including the shooter, and what we can learn from this tragedy. Here to help us go through the W's, the who, what, where's, whens, and whys, Fox News legal analyst Peter Johnson, Jr.
Good morning. A lot of questions answered yesterday, but still some more questions. What happened during that 3-hour standoff? Well, we got some answers. There were calls by Orlando Police Department negotiators to this terrorist. 3 different calls. One at 2:48 lasted 9 minutes. One at 3:30 lasted 16 minutes. One at 3:24 lasted 3 minutes. Okay, so the point is, what happened after that?
Yeah.
This was not breached for an hour and a half, so we don't know what happened in that particular hour and a half once the calls ended. Had the negotiations stopped?
Sure.
Had he made threats at that point? We do know there were threats that were made. The question was, what was the motive of this terrorist? He said, the shooter told the negotiator to tell America to stop bombing Syria and Iraq, and that's why he was out here right now. Let's see now, what have we learned in terms of this? Well, we've learned the motive, number one, with regard to Syria and Iraq. We've also learned that what will be the future in terms of arming soft targets? What will be the future in terms of ensuring that soft targets like Disney World, sure, this gay bar, other places in America are protected? We know that there was one police officer who was in fact present, who was working a paid detail at the door, that he responded, that within minutes another 2 police officers responded, sure, that shots were in fact fired in that club. We don't know who was struck by what. Based on my evaluation of past incidents like this, there will be, unfortunately, friendly fire that struck patrons in that bar on that night that caused injury and death. The autopsies have been done. They will match up the bullets from the gun of the terrorist with the guns of the police officers who responded and fired at that scene. The last point that has caused a furor throughout the country was based upon what the Department of Justice did yesterday in terms of revealing the tapes. What they did in the transcript was reduce and redact reference to ISIS, reference to Allah, and reference to al-Baghdadi, the head of ISIS. And they put it back in later in the day based on political pressure from Republicans here in the United States.
It reveals the motive.
That's the motive. We just heard Laura Ingraham talk about the notion that whether it's in the past at Benghazi or now, there seems to be an effort by this government to reduce and detract from the notion that this is terrorism and that it's based upon Islamic extremism.
All right. Peter Johnson, Jr., connecting some of the dots for us today. Peter, thank you.
More questions.
Indeed.